Last week we looked at a very, very familiar text in the Gospel as recorded by Mark, chapter 10. Mark chapter 10. Verse 17. Verse 17, Mark 10:17. When he was gone forth in the way, there came unto him one running and kneeling and asking him, Good Master, what shall I do that I may inherit eternal life? As we said last week, this story is told by three of the evangelists, and they stress different points. But they all say the same thing about him, that he was very rich. Verse 21 here says, Then Jesus, beholding him, loved him, and said unto him, One thing thou lackest. What was the one thing? Saving faith. One thing thou lackest. Go thy way, sell whatsoever thou hast, and give it to the preacher. I wish we would all do that tonight. I'll be here tomorrow while you bring your gifts. No, that's how we translate it. Sell all you have and give it to the TV preacher. Sell all thou hast and give it to the poor. That's number one thing he has to do. And thou shalt have treasure in heaven. Then come, take up thy cross and follow me. He went away, grieved, for he had great what? Not great money. Not one of the versions talk about him having any money. He had great possessions. There are some things much more precious to us than even money. We love honor. We love to be appreciated. Many people don't have much money, but they're intellectually rich, they're socially rich, or they have prestige in the religious world. And yet Jesus says, sell all that thou hast and give it to the poor. Then take up thy cross and follow me. Where? To the bank? Yes. To the bank? Yes, bankruptcy. It's an extension of the bank. It's where all the banks are going, so you may as well get to know. Bankruptcy. Unless you're bankrupt, you can't follow him. While ever you have one grain of self-reliance, self-satisfaction, self-appreciation, self-desire, self-glory, you cannot be his disciple. It negates everything that the flesh clings to. Social standing, prestige amongst Christians even. Lots of people become worse after they get saved than they were before. I need another night to explain that, but there it is. Let's jump to verse 29. Jesus answered and said unto him, Verily I say unto you, there is no man that hath left house, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for what? For my sake. But he shall receive 100-fold now in this time. Oh boy, there you are, there's prosperity for you. It's written here, but I haven't finished it. Now in this time, houses and brethren and sisters and mothers and lands. With what? Persecutions. Come on, balance it up. Get the prosperity there, the persecutions here. Come on. Some of you look so miserable at this moment. What's wrong with you? I didn't know you had so much money you couldn't leave it. So much prestige, so much honor. With persecutions. Well, we jump from this, let's go from this. This is the rich young ruler. Let's jump back to Mark chapter 1. Oh, no, pardon me, let me go back there a minute. You see, what did Jesus say? He says, sell all that thou hast, and he went away. Now notice, Jesus never followed him. Jesus never rebuked him. Jesus never corrected him. Wouldn't you have thought that here Jesus would have warned him? You see, there are times when the Lord does not even intercept us or interfere with us. He said to one man, Simon, you're going down the road. Satan is going to ambush you, jump on you, tear you up. He was going to do that, but he didn't say, I sent Satan back to hell where he belonged to. He says, I have prayed for thee. That doesn't look very practical, does it? Why didn't he say, I cursed him and he died on the spot? But why didn't he say to Judas when he was going out to destroy Jesus and to destroy himself, he didn't say to him, I've prayed for thee. Jesus was going to be destroyed by that villain that was going out. And he didn't say, well, listen, I'll put a restraint on you that for 5 more years you won't do another thing. But at the end of the 5 years you'll die eaten of worms like Herod will do. He didn't say that to him. He let him go, though it involved the destruction it involved the destruction of Jesus as well as of Judas. And there are times when there is no explanation for what God does. As I've said often enough, I cannot explain God, I can experience Him. And if I believe my times are in thy hands, why do I have to worry? You know, these big boys on TV, they all believe in the sovereignty of God till it comes to money. And then they break down. God can't get them out of a mess financially. And all the guy needs is $5,000 or $50,000 to get a new engine for his jet. I believe in the sovereignty of God, not just over nations, but over my own life as well. My times are in thy hands. There's a timetable. I don't need to know it. The favorite hymn of Hudson Taylor in China was, Jesus, I am resting, resting in the joy of what thou art. Thou hast bid me gaze upon thee, and thy beauty fills my soul. For by thy transforming power thou hast made me whole. And when his wife was in a casket at the side of him, he's 14,000 miles away from home, when the people that were on his staff were disgruntled, when the people in England lost faith in him, he didn't shrink and complain. He sang at the side of the coffin. They were peeping through the keyhole. And he was walking up and down with his arms behind him. Jesus, I am resting, resting in the joy of what thou art. But it says about this precious man here, he went away because he had great possessions. But it says something more than that. It says that Jesus, looking upon him, loved him. Why did he love him? A number of reasons, I think. Did he love him because he bowed down to him? Remember, this is reverse to their customs. In those days, and it's common in the East now, the poor people will fall at the feet and beg at the feet of a rich man. But here you have a rich man begging at the feet of a penniless man, a homeless man, a man that has no authority, a man that's scorned in the synagogue and the temple. And this man comes with courage. And publicly, if you read the beginning of the chapter, Jesus had blessed little children in a home. And then it says he went out in the way. So this is up to the public gaze. And here are all these people that know this nobleman. In England we might call him a lord these days. He's a distinguished man in society. And then he bows in front of this man who's a rebel. The man who contradicts the theology of the day, the customs of the day, everything of the day. And here's a wealthy man, maybe one of the best known men in the country, and he's at the feet of Jesus crying, have mercy upon me. And Jesus, looking on him, loved him. Not for his courage and not for his homage, but because he was a human being who had a need, that everything outside of him was not satisfying. He's known as maybe as a man that has everything, and yet he comes cringing to the feet, again I can't overemphasize this, of this poverty-stricken itinerant preacher